TicketFM.com.
Hey, what are you talking about over there?
Huh?
I said, what are you talking about?
You know, Bill, I think it's time for both of us to get our hearing checked. We should head over to Christensen Hearing Analytics.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about them. They offer a free hearing consultation screening, affordable hearing aid prices, and a knowledgeable staff with over 30 years of experience. Visit Christensen Hearing Analytics today in Williamsburg Village or give them a call at 402-489-3450. Christensen Hearing Analytics. A better life starts with better hearing.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
It is intercepted by Carriker.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Major NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
He's got the left
On 9.7 Ticket and the TicketFM.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Your first instinct is usually right. So always go with your first instinct, even if it's a bad idea, because bad ideas make a good story. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the Mac. Took a few days off, didn't feel like coming into work, needed a break from Jake. All those good things. Nah. I was under the weather just a whole lot this week, and I'm feeling just a smidge better today. And if Jake doesn't trust me, we can share the microphone, Jake. How's that sound to you? You trust me enough to come share this microphone with me?
No, that's all right. I'll keep my distance.
That's a smart decision. I'm feeling a lot better, though. All right, we got a lot to talk about. I'm walking out the door, and I'm like, Ange, I haven't spoken about stuff in like 4 days. She goes, I mean, yes, it's a loaded show. Yeah, it's a loaded show. Nebraska sports, Husker football. The top of the hour, Dylan RAIOLA making $2 million a year. This is not breaking news or anything like that. But NIL deals, quarterbacks, Dylan RAIOLA, things being public, things not being public. Should he be making $2 million? Should it be less? Should it be more? Should this be talked about? We're going to talk about publicly if things should be talked about publicly like this. Matt RHULE, he wants an easy non-conference schedule. I could have phrased that differently, but I didn't because, well, that's more eye-catching. He wants an easy non-conference schedule. The eye-catching way of saying that is the way I just said it. Another way I could say it is he wants a practical non-conference schedule because he plans on playing 16 to 17 games deep into the playoff every year, and he's trying to do what's best for his team. But that's why it's not eye-catching. It's not eye-catching. So he wants an easy non-conference schedule. And basically, he's why in the world we schedule a bunch of tough teams in the non-conference. I'm paraphrasing. That's what we're going to talk about at the top of the hour. Dylan RAIOLA, right? Is he worth $2 million Matt RHULE? And Matt RHULE, what's the non-conference schedule? In the meantime, we got a lot to talk about. Basketball, baseball, men's, women's, softball. All right. Let me see. Men's, women's basketball. We got baseball and softball. Go over that briefly. I wasn't here yesterday, so we can talk about it, as you know. Go over that briefly at 11:25. We're going to be joined by the Nebraska Pride football coach. All right, women's tackle football, ladies and gentlemen, is in Omaha, season 2. Can't wait to chat with Coach, learn more about this. Came across him online, just randomly looked him up on Facebook, sent a message, like, hey, I think this would be great. People can learn more about this. She will be joining me in about 20 minutes or 11:25, and a plethora of other topics. All right, Dabo Sweeney, doesn't really give a hoot about what they're going to do with the new college football playoff format and a whole bunch of other things. Greg Sankey points blame the college football playoff committee over Nebraska, Wake Forest canceling series with Tennessee and Ole Miss. All right, so a little bit of stuff to talk about over the next couple of hours. Let's start off at the top of basketball. All right, the women, Molly probably heard by now. Northwestern 98-77. They open up Big Ten tournament play tomorrow. They're a 10-seed playing 15-seed Rutgers. Now, Jake, you know, I did not watch basketball games this weekend. I knew more than enough going into the weekend. I know the results. I can't tell you I sat here and watched these games. I can give my thoughts based on what I learned afterwards, what I knew before. I have not sat down and watched tape or anything like that. But what are your thoughts on Nebraska women's basketball? Obviously, they've got to win a couple games in the Big Ten tournament and want to make a big dance. How many do they have to win? How far do they have to go? What do they need to do, in your opinion? It's Sunday night, it obviously helped them, because obviously losing to Northwestern would have really hurt them. So winning against Northwestern, beating them by 21 points, obviously it's a plus in the dub column. It helps them as far as their resume a little bit. I don't know that a lot of it, but what do they need to do starting versus Rutgers tomorrow? Okay, and going forward in the Big Ten tournament if they hope to make the Big Dance.
Well, I think they're in a pretty good position at this point, as long as they don't lose to Rutgers. Beating Northwestern, Rutgers is kind of in that same conversation, but Northwestern even more so. Would have been a bad loss more than anything. But winning 98-77 really put that away. The Huskers are a 10 seed, but they're a game back being like fifth in the conference, so it's kind of congested there. So pretty good deal, pretty good year for Nebraska basketball. Britt Ryan's returned. That definitely helps going into the tournament. And then at this point, so you look at it, ESPN Bracketology has Nebraska as a last four bye. So conceivably, if you're in that group, you can still, one of the last 8 to get in. So you're in a pretty good spot. Again, as long as you don't lose to Rutgers. Rutgers is 11-18. So that would be a bad loss. That if a lot of other things kind of move in the wrong direction for Nebraska, as far as other tournaments and stuff going on like that. Maybe you would start to breathe heavy. But if you beat Rutgers, I think you feel pretty good about where Nebraska is, because from there, you're going to be playing pretty good teams in the Big Ten tournament. I think Illinois would be up next for Nebraska, and that loss would hurt Nebraska. So I think they feel pretty good. You might have to hold your breath when you lose to Rutgers. Take care of business against Rutgers. I think you're in and ready to go. Now, the question will be, well, two parts that Nebraska hasn't won 2 games in a row since mid-January. You're going to have to do that to beat Rutgers, and then obviously in tournament play, you're going to have to win more than 1 in a row to make a run in tournament. So I hope they can, with Britt being back, they can kind of put things together and get hot at the right time here.
I think Britt being back is huge. She's their second leading scorer, arguably their second best player behind Alexis Markowski. All right, now, bit of good news. The last time we won more than 1 game in a row, 2 or more, was in January, like you mentioned, but it started with Rutgers. It was Rutgers, then Iowa, then Wisconsin. So we're playing the right team if we want to get a couple wins in a row here, Jake. So I think what Jake is kind of saying, basically, not 100% guaranteed, but beat Rutgers, win, and you're in. That would put the women's basketball team at 20-10 on the season if they were able to beat the Scarlet Knights on Wednesday. And technically, this is a conference game, so that would put them at 11-8. I don't know if that's how conference schedules necessarily work. I do know how it works, and that's not necessarily how it works, but that's how I'm going to look at it because it helps us. You're right. If they beat Rutgers, they would then go on and take on Illinois. If they beat Illinois, then they would take on number 2 seed UCLA on Friday. So Jake's feeling pretty good about the women. All right, man. Talk me off the ledge. The men. Dude, you know how many times in the 10.5 years I've been doing this, I've had fans message me, Adam, talk me off the ledge. Adam, I'm going to lose my mind. Speak sanity to me. And my response is, I'm not a wizard. I'm not a genie. I can't help you in this department. But I will offer my truth and let the chips fall where they may. Jake, are you a wizard? Are you a genie? Help me with men's basketball. Talk me off the ledge. It's been so rough lately. And you may have heard some of these comments, but for those who haven't, and this is going into the weekend, this is after, let's see, the Minnesota game Saturday as well. All right, per Fred Hoiberg, let me see here. Let me find it. And I quote, I thought our practice yesterday was unbelievable, but who cares? You got to carry that over to the game, end quote. That was Hoiberg, another Hoiberg quote. All right, the thing about our group that's disappointing in that game is when you go out there and you get slapped around a little bit, you get punched in the mouth, it's the body language, it's the head hanging. It makes you sick as a coach, that lack of fight and urgency to get out of that thing until it's too late, end quote. What are your thoughts? I'll give my thoughts on Hoiberg's statement. They're pretty damning. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, he's basically saying it's there. You got to actually take it to the game. And guess what? They're lifting weights. They're practicing. They're on scholarship. They're getting paid NIL. They're coaching too. They're going to make plays. They're going to slap you in the face at some point. How do you respond? And he doesn't like how the team is responding. He's not talking about what we physically can or can't do. He's talking about mentally what we are or are not doing. And that's the most frustrating part to him. You look at the Michigan game. That was a great game. Had a chance to win it at the end, or at least tie it, send it into overtime. Had a chance to win it. Discussed the Bryce Williams play at the end where he dished it. Already discussed that. Minnesota, just don't give up the last second three. And it's like exactly what needs to happen doesn't happen, but it happens for the other team too consistently in football and basketball with the men right now. We got to find a way to quit that and get better at that and execute when it matters the most. And Fred Hoiberg isn't saying, hey, we need to recruit this type of player, that type of player, develop this or develop that physically. He's talking about mentally. And that's the thing that has me on the edge. That's the thing that has me struggling with this the most. What are your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. It's kind of reminiscent of the Tim Miles we had on the show not too long ago. His post-tournament season, things just got so frustrating. He was trying to push every button that he could. I don't remember if it was that year or the year afterwards, but he even took away iPads in the showers. I mean, they were fully taking everything they could away to try to push the buttons. And that's what Coach Hoiberg has been doing. They've been trying a lot of different lineups, try to figure out different ways. And it seemed like no matter what they're kind of doing, they're getting behind big. Again, a 21-point deficit this last game to a lowly Minnesota team. You fight as much as you can to get back in that game, but don't give yourself much, room for error. And there it was. Brendan Rigsby, 5 of 6 from beyond the arc after not scoring in 7 of his last 9 games. So very unfortunate for Nebraska to lose that game. Now 3 losses in a row, 4 out of 5, and it's looking rough. And every time one of these losses happens, I keep running back to bracketology. Okay, what does that mean, Nebraska? Are they out? Are they out? And what Nebraska did in their non-con, what they've done beating some quality opponents throughout the season, despite getting on these bad streaks, is still keeping them hanging on to that bubble. And here tonight against Ohio State, both teams now listed in ESPN bracketology's last 4 in. So a loss tonight might push one of those teams out or get close to doing so. There's not a whole lot of okay, maybe this or that happens. I mean, they've got to win some games here. You've got to win tonight against Ohio State to feel pretty good. If you don't, you definitely have to beat Iowa. Otherwise, you're gonna have to make a run in the Big Ten tournament. They're as bubbly as a team as it can be.
You called them bubbly. I love that. I've never thought of it that way before. We're a bubbly basketball team, but it's not bubbly because you're on the bubble. I like that. So Nebraska actually, for those who may or may not remember, beat Ohio State earlier this year, 79-71. All right, that was at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Ohio State is 16-13 on the season. The Huskers sit here. All right. Hold on, is that right? I pulled up softball real quick. Yeah, Ohio State is 16-13. Nebraska basketball is 17-12. It's hard for me to fathom that they're still like in that last 4 group in. Basically, what they're saying is you got Ohio State, you got Iowa, and you got a Big Ten tournament game. Like, we know those are 3 things that are coming. Beyond that, we don't know anything. All right, so for me, if you beat Ohio State, you feel decent. You beat Iowa, you feel really good. Can I say you feel really good if you beat Ohio State and Iowa? Or is that trying to talk myself off the ledge too much there, Jake?
Well, I feel better than you do now.
Well, yes. Thank you, Jake. Now I'm back on the ledge again. All right, just don't nudge me right now. My point is, I'm trying to figure out a way in the next 3 games that we know we're going to get. How can I feel really good about things? And I keep coming back to win 2 of the 3, starting with Ohio State. You don't want the committee to start to look at you and already start to write you off if you lose yet another game, which would be the 4th in a row. All right, and it would be 6 out of 7. So that would be tough. And Ohio State's barely over 500, 16-13. So for me, beat Ohio State. If you beat Iowa, get a little bit of revenge there. You might have a little bit of grace going into the tournament. You obviously can't go 0-2, Ohio State and Iowa. You'd have to pretty much make it to the championship game of the Big Ten tournament, which I'm not going to put a whole lot of money on at this point. You never know what can happen. But it's my money, and I like to keep it. But if you can beat Ohio State, start with that. I think that's the big one. You got to get off the snide. You got to get to feeling good. You got to get a little bit of momentum. You got to right the ship a little bit. You got to show that mentally you can bounce back. And this is at Ohio State, too. Can you do it on the road? You beat them at home. Can you do it on the road? So beat Ohio State. Hopefully you beat Iowa. If you don't, at least get 1 win in the Big Ten tournament. If that happens, Jake, do you feel good? No guarantees. But do you feel good about being in the tournament with the men?
Well, I think there's still a statistical possibility if they lose these final 2 games, they wouldn't even make the Big Ten tournament. So,
okay.
because they have 7 wins in the tournament.
I was on the edge and you just shoved me over.
Well, there's some other things that
Ruined
would
my
have to
day.
happen. But no, I mean, I don't think there's anything that's going to make you really feel good outside of, like we said, maybe winning 3 in a row here. If you split these next 2 and then lose one in the Big Ten tournament, you're holding your breath. If you win the next 2 and lose one in the Big Ten tournament, I think at that point you might be in, but still kind of holding your breath. As I said, is if when you're one of the last 4 in among many of these seedings, I think even NBC, there's a couple different ones that don't quite have, might not have Nebraska quite in. You've just got to kind of win every game as it comes along to boost yourself up there. So to prognosticate 3 games away for this team is hard because it's tough to tell what they're going to look like from one half to the next.
Yeah, 15 minutes to the next 15 minutes of the game. You never know what to expect. It's crazy to me because I guarantee making the tournament last year gives us a little bit of grace. Like there is brand name recognition when you're who's going to be in the CFP or who's going to be ranked higher. Oh, you're an SEC. An SEC team is going to get the benefit of the doubt over a Big 12 team. That's just how it's going to work. So I guarantee Nebraska just getting in last year, because last year we were saying, hey, if you don't get to 22 wins, it's probably not going to happen. They're sitting there at 17 right now. And if they win 2 out of 3, we're like, hey, they might have a chance. That's 19. So for me, there's a little bit of, hey, they got in last year. Bryce Williams is a really good player. Maybe Hoiberg's building something. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I do think he's a good basketball coach, but we got to see how the rest of the season unfolds. He's such a calm demeanor type guy. And you can just sense the frustration. Like you can just sense it. I haven't seen any more hands wrapped or any more whiteboard pieces on the floor anywhere, but who knows? Maybe they're just not showing us that stuff now. You never know. But you can just sense his frustration. And it has to be so insanely frustrating for Hoiberg. All right, and obviously he's trying to right the ship, so are the players. We'll see what happens. I think you got to start by winning tonight because I think at a certain point, a committee will start looking at a team or teams and being like, you're kind of in the back of my mind at this point. So unless you go on a deep Big Ten tournament run, because remember, it's not computers, it's people. People make this decision. People are imperfect. Did you know that I'm not perfect, Jake? Were you aware of that?
I might have caught on.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was a great response. I'm well aware of how imperfect I am. Like people are going to make imperfect decisions because people are imperfect and we don't have room for the benefit of the doubt. We've got to start by winning tonight. And then we'll see, like Jake said, you got to take it minute by minute with this team. All right. A couple of Nebraska baseball updates. Freshman Devin Nunez has been named the Big Ten's Freshman of the Week. The league office announced Monday afternoon. This was yesterday. All right. The Navasado, Texas native led the Husker offense at the Frisco Classic last weekend, hitting 500, 7 of 14 with a home run, 3 RBI, and 4 runs scored in 3 games. He tallied a .714 slugging percentage and a .533 on-base percentage. In Nebraska's 8-3 win against Sam Houston, Nunez was 2 for 4 at the plate with an RBI, a run scored, and a walk. The designated hitter had a 3 for 5 night with a pair of runs scored against number 2 LSU on Saturday. All right, today's game versus UNO has been postponed, and the game on Wednesday, baseball-wise, versus South Dakota State has indeed been canceled. Early thoughts on the baseball season, Jake? For me, real quick, you're 4-6. You're preseason, I think, weren't we number 24 in the country? Predicted to make the Big Ten championship game. I think the projection was against Oregon. A lot of experience coming back, defending Big Ten champs, won the tournament last year. You're like, oh, after 10 games, play some decent competition, but I don't know that it's murderer's row. LSU, number 2 in the country. Yeah, they're pretty darn good. Kansas State's okay. Sam Houston's okay. Louisiana, 3-game set against them. You win 1 out of 3. It's not what you're hoping for. Grand Canyon, San Diego State, you mollywop 13-0. Vanderbilt was a big win, 6-4. These are okay programs. But out of all the teams we played so far, only 2 have been ranked. So it's a little bit underwhelming. Hopefully the bats can thaw and we can get rolling a little bit going forward in baseball. Quick thoughts on baseball before we go to softball real quick, Jake.
Yeah, it's always tough, right? Getting out of the gate in Nebraska and the Midwest. You could see it. You could see it, right? They beat Vanderbilt. They had a 5-0 lead on LSU.
Yes.
Those are big deals. But kind of consistently and
5-0
winning. Yeah, that's a nice lead. But just haven't been able to close these out. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it's early season Nebraska baseball. This kind of seemingly happens every year, and we kind of ask the same questions. Generally, they're able to bounce back. It's too early to fear too much, but we'll see. I mean, obviously, the 4-6 start's not what they wanted.
It's interesting because you got to remember not to bring a football mindset to the baseball world. 6 losses in football. I mean, we're talking about firing people. 6 losses in baseball. Oh, we still got like 30 more games to play. So it's a little bit different. So to Jake's point, it's not the end of the world. Not the hot start you want, not the start you want, but it is a long season. Hopefully the bats do thaw. All right. Let's look at softball real quick. All right. Right out the gate, Nebraska softball is 15-6. Over this past weekend, did some good things, saw some first-time things as well. All right, but Saturday, fell to Missouri 7-1, came back, destroyed Wichita State 15-0, got a little bit of revenge versus the Tigers of Missouri on Sunday, beating them 10-9 as well. So a couple of takeaways, and then we'll go to a break, and I'm excited to bring on our guest here in about 5 minutes. But here's some takeaways from Nebraska softball's Wichita weekend, so to speak. All right. Had some struggles in the circle. Jordy Ball is obviously a true ace of the pitching staff, but didn't have her best stuff this weekend. Had a game where for the first time, all right, let me see, what was it? Gave up, I think it was 9 runs for the first time. Maybe it was 7, all right, in her career. So, but it just shows she's human. All right, in her first start against Oklahoma State, Ball allowed just 2 hits and 1 run while striking out 8. However, she struggled with command, issuing 5 walks. She entered the game only allowing 4 based on balls the entire season. It was her first setback appearance on the same day she closed the win against San Diego State, striking out 3 batters over 2 innings. In the final game of the weekend against Missouri, the junior had an uncharacteristic outing, surrendered 9 runs, there you go, on 8 hits, including 4 home runs. She had never allowed 9 runs during her collegiate career. I just couldn't remember if it was 9 or 7. I don't think it's anything to freak out about. It just shows that she's a human being. It's funny because I legit think people think that like pro athletes wake up, never sick, never tired, never have a bad day. Everything's always glorious. Same thing with collegiate athletes, especially now that they're getting paid NIL. So for me, when I see something like this, it's like, oh, well, that really sucks. If I was her, I'd be really pissed because I guarantee she's pissed because that's not to her standard. But she'll be back the next day. And got the utmost respect. Looking forward to seeing what she's going to do next. You look at the first bad loss of the season, though. Without a doubt, the team's first bad loss of the season was against Missouri on Saturday. It's tough to compare this year's squad to last year's because it is a completely different makeup of this team. And also, we're still early on in the season. When you think back to last year at this time, Nebraska had already lost 10 games. Okay, so you think about what you would call a bad loss, the blowout loss. I think it was 7-1 on Saturday versus Missouri. They're unranked, not gotten a whole lot of votes. Okay. The other losses, really their first rough one, because the other losses were all to ranked teams and to opponents, frankly, they had All-American pitchers. So we'll see what happens. You're learning more and more about this team as they go along. I think what you're going to find is their ceiling is incredibly high and their floor is incredibly low. And it's going to come down to what football fans know here in Nebraska, what basketball fans know here in Nebraska. It's the consistency, up and down, up and down. Over the course of a weekend, I think it was 2 weekends ago, we beat our opponents 69-9. Okay, and then you look at our record versus ranked teams. We got the win versus Tennessee, but not a whole lot since. Now, I do respect them for trying to schedule as many ranked teams as they can early on in the schedule because you're not going to get a ton of those in baseball or softball in the Big Ten. It just is what it is. Okay, but this team's got to find that level of consistency because the ceiling is high. The floor is also low. The median's going to be, where do we find that level of consistency? And if you don't ever find it, you're going to go through a season like what the basketball teams have kind of gone through, especially the men in particular. You got some pitchers that can hit, though. You look at Ball, Emerson Cope, and Hannah Commons in. There are 3 of the team's top pitchers and happen to be 3 of the best hitters as well. All right, now Jordy's been hitting great this year. Ball leads the team with a 5.08 average. Didn't bat at Oklahoma. Just batting 5.08 here in Nebraska. Second on the team in home runs. No big deal. Cope is batting 382. All right. And Hannah is at 333. All of them have home run power, with Ball being second on the team, like I mentioned, with 7 home runs. Cope has 4. Hannah has 2. This is my final takeaway. Then we're going to go to break. They're 15-6 on the season so far. Off to a good start. Again, at this point last year, they already had 10 losses. This This is the consistency, and this is the area they have to find it. Hitting with runners in scoring position. If there is one concern with the offense, it is hitting with runners in scoring position. They've had 2 games so far this year where they were 0-13 with runners in scoring position and 0-14, a separate game, with runners on base. Then they had a different game where they were 11-13 with runners in scoring position. I mean, that's like going to the red zone 13 times and scoring 0 times in one game and going 13 times the next game. That'd be a lot, obviously, but scoring 11 times. Think about that in football terms, how gargantuanly different the score is going to be. They've got to find a way to have more success with runners in scoring position consistently. Opportunities presented themselves against the Cowgirls and the Tigers several times, and the Huskers failed to produce. That's why they got blown out by Missouri and then turned around a day later and beat them. Runners in scoring position. One day, they capitalized. The next day, they did not. While the Huskers lead the country in home runs, doing the little things to move runners over against some of these great pitchers will end up working out better. So when it comes to softball, bunting's huge. In baseball, basically, you're gonna sacrifice bunt to move runners along. And if the third baseman is sleeping or the infield's not paying attention, you might try to drag bunt and get on. Bunting is a legit part of the game in softball. It's not just about sacrificing. You got slap. You got girls who can slap hit, slap bunt. You can drag bunt. The bases are so close, especially on the left-hand side of that box. You can be 3 steps outside of the box before the ball on the bunt is anywhere near close to a defender, and then that base is much closer, not 90 feet away. I forget what it is, like 60 or 70. Everything in softball is bang, bang, bang. So much more bang, bang, bang. You look at how baseball players throw, it's the long windup, except for catchers, because they got to get it down to second quick. You look at softball players, it's quick. It's quick. It's a very quick whip because you got to get it out quick. Right now, they can hit the long ball. They got to find a way to be more productive and consistent with runners in scoring position, and they got to be able to bunt a little bit more consistently. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, what are you talking about over there?
Huh?
I said, what are you talking about?
You know, Bill, I think it's time for both of us to get our hearing checked. We should head over to Christensen Hearing Analytics.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about them. They offer a free hearing consultation and screening, affordable hearing aid prices, and a knowledgeable staff with over 30 years of experience.
Visit Christensen Hearing Analytics today in Williamsburg Village or give them a call at 402-489-3450. Christensen Hearing Analytics. A better life starts with better hearing.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks. Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service. But it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free. So visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I forgot to mention earlier, this is the only day this week that you get me. Since I decided to sleep all day yesterday and do nothing, and we got state basketball this weekend. This is the only day Jake gets to enjoy my presence and share the mic awkwardly with me.
That's right.
I paused for a little bit more awkwardness to just set in there. All right, segment 2 of the Adam Carriker Show is brought to you by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue. They now have 2 locations at 11th and Cornhusker, and as of this month, now open at 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos. Ladies and gentlemen, get a full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much, much more, plus incredible sides. Get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue. Located at 11th and Cornhusker, now also at 61st and Apples Way, just off Highway 2 by Lowe's. Now I'm, at this time, honored to bring on our special guest. She is the head football coach for Nebraska Pride. They are a part of the Women's Football Alliance. Miss Nancy Jova Major. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to join me. So you're located in Omaha. You had a really good season a season ago, made it to the national championship after you beat Oklahoma City. And I'm looking at your schedule. You have your first game coming up here. Looks like April 26th. All right, you're going to be playing the Minnesota Vixen. But what would you like people to know about the Nebraska Pride and about your team?
I guess, we're an exciting team to watch. We have an attacking defense, pretty balanced offense. We like to put on a good show, and it's just football. So everybody should come out and watch, check us out. And, home games, our first home game is not till May 17th. So we'll have a couple games under our belt, and we'll be looking good by then.
All right, so I heard attacking defense, and my ears perked up even more. So when you say attacking defense, enlighten me a little bit more the style of defense you run. And when you say attacking, is that blitzing? Is that all sorts of disguises and coverage? What do you mean by that?
So a lot of people would look at it and think it's like a 3-3 stack or a 3-5. It's kind of a combination of both, but we like to be hitting the gaps and getting all kinds of stunts on that front line, getting 5 people, 6 people, 7 people sometimes, getting in after the quarterback. And, the quarterback's our focus, and we just try and shut them down.
All right, I got to ask, because it sounds a little bit similar to maybe what Tony White ran at Nebraska. It's labeled a 3-3-5. It's a multiple type front. But how similar is your attacking style, hitting the gaps, blitzing, aggressive style of defense to what they've done the past couple years here at Nebraska when Tony White was here under Matt RHULE, and obviously it'll be John Butler this fall. But how similar or different is it?
It's actually fairly similar. I would say we attack even more than they did. I think they held back sometimes. but our defenders, our D-backs, they're just on the hunt for the ball. I don't know how many interceptions we had last year, but I think we were league leading on interceptions. And if we don't have 3 people in the backfield every single play, then we're doing something wrong.
I tell you what, I have not watched enough of this team. Like, I am getting excited. Like, this is me. Jake knows me. I love defense. I love aggressiveness. If I were ever a DC one day, we are going to blitz. We are coming. And Tony White, she's saying you weren't aggressive enough. I don't know. Is that what you heard, Jake? Like, Tony White was not aggressive enough? What are your thoughts here, Jake?
Oh, well, I do have some questions, too. I just kind of wanted to know, as people look into your team, who are some of the players that might stand out, leading your team?
Well, we've got Britt Peterson. She started with us last year. She'd played a couple years over in Iowa, came over to us, wanted to be a part of a championship team. She was the MVP of the championship game, had multiple pick sixes all season, but definitely people tried not to throw in her direction, but she still found a way to get the ball. Also on the defensive side, we had Bennett and Cheyenne, who are our defensive ends, who were constantly just sealing the edge, didn't let anybody outside. And then Sean Taylor, who up the middle didn't let anything through. So we definitely played a shutdown defense and made teams throw the ball where we could go and get it.
So you mentioned your first home game, May 17th. You're going to play the Cedar Raptors. So where in Omaha are you located? If fans want to come by, they want to check out a game, they want to see what you're all about, see this attacking style of defense and everything else that you offer. Obviously had a lot of success last year. Where are you located, and where can they look you up and find more information about Nebraska Pride?
So we play at Gail Wickersham Stadium. And then you can find us we're on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can find us, just look up Nebraska Pride football and we should pop up. You'll see our, Columbia blue colors with the red accent, because we had to throw in the red.
I like it.
And so, you can find us on any of those social media outlets. That'll lead you to our website as well. But that's the best place to find us.
All right. So where do you find your players at? Because one thing I've noticed, I don't know if you know this, I got 6 kids, 5 daughters. And so girls flag football is becoming rampant. They're starting to give out scholarships now at colleges, and they're going to start having state tournaments. It's going to be at the Olympics in LA, women's flag football. It may even be a part of what Steve Sipple call it, the replace spring game weekend, or whatever he's calling it. I like when he labeled it that. So I'm curious what your thoughts on the growth of women's flag football, and then specifically, because you're obviously a tackle football team, where do you tend to find your players at?
So oftentimes we just, we get players from about a 2.5, 3 hour radius of Omaha, and we just promote the team. And it's women that always wanted to play football that never got the opportunity. We're starting to get more girls that played at the high school level. We have Erin Marty, who played for Westside, got a championship with Westside, and a few other girls that are now starting to join the team that played high school ball. And so we just any athlete that is looking for, something other than just the weekend softball leagues, somebody that still has that competitive drive. So that's pretty much where all our athletes come. With the explosion of flag, I think girls in football is just going to keep growing. I think they're going to have a desire to get into tackle football. There's a couple of tackle girls leagues popping up around the country. We hope to get one going here in the next couple of years. But, with the NCAA pushing to get flag football, I'm hoping that Troy Dannon calls me up and, I can help get that sprung. But, we just, female athletes who are looking for a competitive edge, something to be a part of.
So my wife wanted to play tackle football. She has 2 older brothers, youngest of 3. She wanted to play tackle football when I think she was in middle school, and her brothers were the ones that shut it down. So I may have to share this information with my wife and see if she still has an interest in playing tackle football. My daughter Trinity was actually asked to play on a boys tackle football game.
Yep.
I think she was going into 4th grade. She loves soccer. So she said no, she loves soccer. She was doing flag football at the time. But I have a daughter, Dakota, I
Okay.
mean, just plays the Red Kingdom Nebraska song nonstop in the car. Loves the Broncos. Can't stand the Chiefs or the Raiders. But she's going to do flag. She's in 3rd grade right now. She's going to do flag football here sometime in the next year. But I may be sending a future tackle football player your way here in the near future. So just keep that in mind, Coach, when you see me in the future, all right?
Bring it on. I welcome anyone that wants to come and learn. You know, we even have some moms that never played sports before, and, you know, their kids are starting to get into football, and they're like, you know what, like, I want to learn more about the sport. So they come out, and, you know, some of them it's their first athletic venture is joining an adult women's tackle football team, which is exciting to watch and be a part of.
All right, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time. Good luck this season, especially as the season approaches.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Treads Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Treads Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Treads Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
St. Patrick's Day is on a Monday this year, but St. Patrick's Eve is on a Sunday, and you won't want to miss that party at Matson's Bowling and Billiards. Families are welcome to join in on the Olympics and win great prizes, or just come down to have one of Sarah's favorites, corned beef and cabbage, or one of Brady's favorites, bangers and mash. Plus, great music all afternoon from Crosby, Stills, Bangers and Mash. That's St. Patrick's Eve on Sunday, March 16th at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake, I didn't even give you a warning during the break, but is there anything off the textual line at this point we should address?
Let's see. Well, you did mention earlier that if you lose 6 games in football, it's a big deal. And if you lose softball, it's not too big of a deal, or baseball.
Mm-hmm.
BJ in Wichita says, we lost 6 games in football last year, and everyone acted like it was a success.
So it's not lost on me. As soon as I said that, I was like, well, we've lost a lot more than 6 games recently. We've also had a lot of coaching changeover. I think you've got to take the individual situation into account. We also did things last year we hadn't done, unfortunately, since like 2016 and 2000 and 12 or whenever the last time we had beat Wisconsin. So I think there's a building pattern, and then you get to a level of expectations that you hope to have this holding pattern, and then you hope to compete for championships within it. Hopefully you don't go backwards. In a typical, once we get to that point where hopefully we're winning 8, 9, 10 games way more often than not, that's kind of what I was referring to. Nebraska football right now is not in the pattern that anybody wants it to be in, and it hasn't been for a long time. So does that kind of make sense? Because as soon as I said it, I was like, we've lost a lot more in 6 games recently. But we're hoping to hold on to this coach, and hopefully he's the guy that can take us to the next level. So hopefully that is a bit of the difference. I forgot to mention this when I was talking softball, but Jordy Ball earns number 2 ranking in Softball America's March two-way player list. Okay. Softball America released its updated pitcher and two-way player rankings Monday, and Jordy Ball came in ranked number 2 in the country behind Texas Tech's Najari Kanadi. All right, Ball had a phenomenal start to her junior campaign so far this year. All right, and as a two-way star, Ball has pitched to a record of 8-3 so far with an earned run average. Think about this, 1.43. How do you have 3 losses when your ERA is 1.43 to begin with across 62 2/3 innings? As a second batter in the Huskers lineup, she is hitting .508, which is also redonkulous, with a 1.624 OPS, 9 doubles, 2 triples, 7 home runs, 18 runs batted in, and a partridge in a pear tree. All right. The other thing that I noticed when I got on Facebook, and I even asked Jake, the picture went away. Oh, it went away. That's okay. All right. Oh, man. Remember his name? The quarterback we were chatting about during the break from Omaha.
Oh, Jet Tamala.
Yeah. So what I saw on Facebook, and I was like, is this worth bringing up or not, Jake? So we're just going to bring it up quickly. React however you find folks would like on the textual line. Jet Tamale has not been offered by Nebraska. He's now a 4-star. He's now on the top 100 recruit list. He's ranked number 194 in the country. Okay, does not have an offer from Nebraska. And the Facebook post at the top said he does not have an offer from Nebraska because of Dayton Raiola. All right, so we talked about this briefly, not at great length. I believe it was just last week. I think after we talked about it, you started to hear more people talk about it. Had it been talked about before? I honestly randomly came across it during the show, We didn't talk about it a ton, but had you heard it talked about before then, Jake?
No, I hadn't.
All of a sudden now I'm starting to see it various places. It's like people are out there listening. Are you aware that people listen, Jake? Did you know that?
I was slightly aware, but not I didn't know it'd start a whole conversation.
So what are your thoughts on this? Because I have seen it multiple places since. It's not like some big firestorm. We're not trying to create some big firestorm. I do think it is like interesting enough to be talked about. Number one player in the state of Nebraska, 4-star, top player. I was going to say top quarterback, but top player, top 200 player in the country, 194, and he hasn't received an offer, and it's because of Dayton. I'm just going to ask, Jake. I'm just going to ask, is it a mistake?
It would. It's tough to say, especially with the modern day, transfer portal. We're having Notre Dame just got to the title game. They've rented quarterbacks out of the transfer portal each of the last 2 years. So I don't think it's as big as maybe it would have been, 2008, 2016, whatever. You pick your year back in the day. But it is a big deal. Nebraska generally, lock down the top players in the state. And then if it's very rare that there's a top quarterback, a top 15 kind of national quarterback. And Jet Tamal is kind of positioning himself to be there. So that would especially generally be the case. But we kind of all know what the situation is. Again, I would hope, and it's tough to get there, but, maybe with the modern day transfer portal and so to be able to tell a kid, hey, the quarterback class now is going to look completely different in 3 years. So if you're planning on starting as a sophomore or, as a redshirt sophomore, as a junior, I wouldn't focus too much on kind of what's going on in this quarterback class. Maybe you could pitch, hey, we could take a 2-quarterback class. I think that's the best thing to do, but that could be pretty tough to convince anybody. I mean, we've seen before, like Patrick O'Brien, his class, I remember specifically, had another quarterback in there, ended up having a pretty good career that then didn't want to be part of a 2-quarterback class.
Well, look at Dylan and Daniel Kalen. I know they weren't the same exact class, but essentially they were going to be once Daniel. Well, no, Daniel would have been a year younger. They were the same class, weren't they? But Daniel redshirted, so he became a year younger as far as his eligibility they had remaining. And obviously, Daniel took his talents elsewhere, so to speak. Wish him nothing but the best. I think you just make a run. I mean, it's the position that is the most coveted on a football team, which is a quarterback. Your priority is in-state recruits. You want to have a good relationship with the coaches in Omaha, which I believe RHULE does now have. Previous coach did not. But you want to maintain those good relationships. And he's one of the highest-rated players out there. Just make a run, have a conversation, make an offer. I mean, if nothing else, maybe you get them, maybe you bring in 2. You have some competition. You can't be scared of competition. You can't be bringing in kids that are scared of competition. If you're bringing another one and that scares the other one away, that tells you what you need to know. If it doesn't, then you got 2. You compete. Let's be honest. One of them's going to transfer. But in the meantime, let the cream rise to the top, so to speak. Or just do it so you can say you did it. One or the other. For me, there's no reason not to, unless people are just scared of competing. All right, unless you got any final thoughts or there's something on the text line. Again, I don't want to dwell on this too much. It's pretty obvious where RHULE is going. Would I do something different in this situation? Probably. All right, but I'm not the man in charge. This isn't my program. This isn't my vision for my program. I think it's worth talking about. His actions have spoken. This is what he intends on doing. Things can change at any point. We always know that. So I think it's worth talking about, but not worth dwelling on. You got any final thoughts, or is there anything there from the text line, Jake?
Well, it's just, I don't think they can wait around much longer. I know they do have, they've, talked to him before, invited him to, but without an offer. There's other programs starting to circle. He's going into his senior year. That's generally when you lose the out-of-state kid and you try to make that late run. That's generally what you hear is, well, they just didn't talk to me or it wasn't serious early enough. So they've got to make their decision pretty soon because it might already be too late. He might have already been, kind of already established some relationships with some other people. So we'll see what happens. But again, I wouldn't sound any alarms one way or the other because modern day transfer portal, if you've got a freshman starting at quarterback, unless it's Dylan Raiola or that type of situation, you can go to the portal.
If Dylan, starts for the next 2 years, does really, really well, we win a bunch of games, he goes and he's a high draft pick, and then Dayton's here, and whenever he gets to start, whether it's sooner or later, and he plays really, really well, there won't be much made of this. But if Dayton's struggling, regardless of what Dylan does, and Jet goes somewhere and he's playing really, really well, there's going to be something made of this. And the thing, if I'm Matt RHULE, I mean, sometimes, I mean, personally, I would say, hey, I want both of you. Let's see what happens. Knowing probably one of them's not going to love that. But you never know. Also, I love guys who love competition. Sometimes it is just about appearances. Like right now, he can't even say he made an offer. It just doesn't look good. To me, just you can make an offer. And if that upsets somebody, I don't know, that might be a red flag there. But to me, just make an offer. He's an in-state kid who's really talented at a very important position. Why not? And if he doesn't accept, hey, we made the offer. What are we supposed to do? But you don't even make the offer. Man, Dylan better play well. Dayton better play well. I think it actually puts more pressure on Dayton specifically than if you at least made the offer and then nothing comes of it. All right. We better head to break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, NIL. It's been reported by On3. Again, not breaking news. Dylan RAIOLA'S NIL deal's worth around $2 million. We're going to kind of dissect this article. I think that makes him the 23rd highest player in America, tops on the Huskers team. And we'll kind of look at that a little bit. Is that what he's worth? What needs to happen for that to be validated? How much sway does he have on things? And Matt RHULE wants an easy non-conference schedule. And yes, I phrased it that way on purpose. I explained why earlier. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-4 421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Husker Nation, Nebraska is heading to the Pinstripe Bowl, and J-Tech Construction and Solar is here to help you score big on your home this season. Buy any 2 trades, windows, siding, roofing, solar, gutters, or doors, and save up to 20% off. Plus, enjoy no payments until 2026 and receive a $25 Valentino's gift card. Don't wait for the final whistle. Score big with J-Tech. From a new roof to energy-saving windows and solar panels, they've got your home covered like a true champ. Call 402-261-3682 to schedule your free estimate today. J-Tech Construction and Solar, proud sponsors of Husker football. Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
It takes hard work to make Nebraska the right place to raise a family, build a business, or grow a community. We're counting on working parents to make it happen, and they're counting on childcare professionals to have their backs. Employers and other contributors can earn up to a $100,000 tax credit for strengthening childcare in our communities and state. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. It appears as though we're going to have a surprise guest at some point. All right. This hour again as well. You never know what's going to happen on this show. It's always good times, always good stuff. All right. The Carriker's Trivia Challenge is back as well. All right. So here's the deal. Our prize for the trivia contest giveaway, if you come on air, beat yours truly, $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions. They are located at 2040 Southwest 5th Street here in good old Lincoln, Nebraska. All you got to do, call in. All right. Jake's got 3 questions for you, 3 questions for me. There will be a winner and a loser. Why? Because we have a tiebreaker, and it finally makes sense. If you beat yours truly, you get a $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions. All right. And if I win, I still play for the people. I believe it's the very next person who calls in will still win. All right. That prize. What is that number that they can call into there, Jake?
402-464-5685.
All right. When will our guest be joining us?
He actually had to run, but he did want to let everybody know. He's the owner of McKinney's, and they're preparing to have quite a fun time down there for St. Patrick's Day. So if you don't have any St. Patrick's Day planned, they're going to shut down the street and have a lot of fun down there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, check that out. Have fun. Enjoy the weather today, by the way. Said with so much sarcasm. All right. Here we go. Let's chat about this first thing here. So this is per College Sports Network, all sports, all the time. All right. And this was February 26th, so a few days ago. But again, I've been out of commission for a bit. Dylan RAIOLA, NIL. How much are Nebraska quarterbacks' NIL deals worth? All right. It's been reported that Dylan RAIOLA is the biggest player Nebraska has added in the NIL era. Despite having one season under his belt, the Cornhuskers quarterback has already successfully secured significant NIL agreements. According to On3.com, Dylan RAIOLA's NIL value is around $2 million. That makes him, I said 23rd, that makes him the 18th, all right, highest paid earning college football player and 23rd most influential athlete in college sports. So 18th amongst college football players and 23rd amongst most influential college athletes. All right. He currently has a trio of endorsements. The most notable one is EA Sports, which enables them to use his name and image as a character in the video game, namely College Football 25 and other future games. His other deals are with Panini, a trading card company that RAIOLA agreed with shortly after committing to Nebraska in December of 2023, and merchandise company Campus Inc. Quick question, because there are some players, I think Eli Manning did it, not Eli Manning, Arch Manning, and actually Travion Henderson were not in the college football video game last summer. I could play with Quinshawn Judkins, I could play with Quinn Ewers, but I couldn't play with those other two players. What do you think of players who do not agree to be in the game, Jake? What are your thoughts there?
Well, it's not good for the game. I know Michael Jordan did that back in the day, Charles Barkley. I mean, we've had Bill Belichick would not agree to be a part of Madden in the past. So it's always weird because you're always in your own little world and you're like, something's a little off and I don't know how to process it. But it is what it is. I mean, if you're leveraging for more money or, the next time the next video game comes out, maybe they'll pay you a little bit more. It's understandable on the player's behalf.
I get it. I don't like it, but I think I come from a little bit jaded perspective because, and I've talked about this before, I love the NCAA college football video game. I knew the day it came out. I knew when it came out. I knew where it was coming out, and I was getting that thing. I would eventually go get Madden, and I'd eventually go get other games, and I still love NBA Jams. I mean, NBA Jams from the 90s is still one of my favorite video games of all time. I think I still have blisters on my thumb from playing that thing like 10, 15, 20 years ago and yesterday. But I would have to watch this guy on the screen, number 90, 6'6", 295 from Kennewick, Washington, senior. Guy looked like Ivan Drago, and I was supposed to pretend this dude wasn't me. Because if I went along with the facade, they didn't have to pay me. I didn't even get a free game. I had to go buy the game. So now you've got players who are getting paid to be in the game, and then they choose not to do it. So my first response is to each their own. No judgment, but a little bit of jealousy on my part, because I never had that choice. I never had that option, and I was supposed to live in this alternate reality where that Ivan Drago, I must break you looking dude wasn't me, so they couldn't pay me. So they didn't have to pay me. That drove me nuts. And now you've got guys who aren't getting paid enough opting out of the game. So for me, I'm going to be open and just honest. I come from a little bit jaded perspective of I would have given anything just to get the game for free. Just to get it for free. So there's my jaded point of view on that. All right. Looking ahead to 2025, RAIOLA is coming off a freshman season that saw him help Nebraska become bowl eligible for the first time in 9 years. He threw for 2,819 yards, 13 TDs, completed 67% of his passes. Nebraska's victory. All right. Also had 11 INTs. And Nebraska's victory over BC in the Pinstripe Bowl. He threw for 224 yards and a touchdown, giving the Huskers their first bowl win since they beat UCLA in 2015. What are your thoughts on the value that's been placed on Dylan? Too much, too little, and the fact that, Matt RHULE's talked about how he hopes these things don't become public. And here we are talking about it publicly. Again, this isn't breaking. This is just something that's been out there. And I was curious to get Jake's thoughts, people on the text line. All right, let me know your thoughts on the text line. Go ahead and give them that number again there, Jake.
402-464-5685.
My take is this. Sounds about right. I mean, that's about what I expected the number to be. Matt RHULE stood in front of the podium after his first season. I think it was his first press conference after that season was over. It was like, to get a good quarterback, it's going to take $1 to $2 million. So you find out that here we are a couple years later, year and a half later, whatever it is. Oh, it took about $2 million to get what we believe to be a good quarterback and a guy that we need to be here and a guy who's been peer recruiting and everything else. So it's not shocking. Like Matt RHULE seems to be ahead of the curve on certain things. That statement for one. Canceling the spring game. Apparently Michigan's going to play theirs. We have a school that's going to play their spring game. But he took a lot of heat right out the gate for canceling the spring game. Now we got spring game replacement weekend. Shout out to Steve Sipple for dubbing it that. I love it. And now other people are canceling their spring games. He always seems to be just a little bit ahead of the curve. I hope he's a little bit ahead of the curve, which allows us to get more wins going forward in the future as well. To me, the amount didn't surprise me. It didn't shock me. And frankly, when there was wild rumors and speculation and innuendo that, and other schools were trying to get Dylan, that Dylan might go somewhere else earlier this offseason, imagine had he gone, what effect that would have had on things. Not just because he's a good player with a bright future, but having a centerpiece and a returning experienced quarterback like that. I mean, you look at him and Emmett Johnson, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Having that coming back brings a lot of value. Matters a lot to the team. Now, is everything about one player? Absolutely not. Hey, you're getting paid about $2 million. You got all these NIL deals. You're going from basketball game to hockey game to basketball game to TikTok videos to dance videos. Hey, that's great. I've said it before. Is that part of the package that gets us more wins? As long as you're staying out of trouble, not breaking any laws, hey, you do you. But do more wins come with that? Because if they do, I got no problem with it. If they don't, it's kind of like, hey, we're offering one quarterback but not another. That puts more pressure on the quarterback that you're offering, his little brother. And I hope they all do great, to be clear with you. I'm just speaking openly and honestly about things that could come down the pike later, depending on how the play on the field unfolds in the meantime. If we're winning more games and he's playing well, people are going to love it. If not, people would have viewed that Bill Belichick hoodie and him basically standing there just so he wouldn't get fined, even though he never said that, like Marshawn Lynch every single press conference, because that's basically what he was saying and doing with his body language. People would have viewed that a lot different if Belichick was losing. By the way, it's funny because my son would play Madden more than me. And the Patriots would come up and I'd be like, that's not Belichick. Like, I didn't know he didn't want to be in the video game. It doesn't surprise me one iota. But I'm like, that's not Belichick. The dude's like 30 years younger. And I point out everything else that didn't make sense. And Jacobs would be like, he doesn't want to be in the game. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. Anyways, Jake, what are your thoughts here? Anything off the text line?
No, I'm not too surprised. Again, if that's the number, kind of makes sense. Like you said, Matt Rhule kind of got ahead of it. And I think that was very, I think that's underrated, or maybe we don't appreciate enough how Matt Rhule kind of did position Nebraska with that open press conference. Say, hey, that's the going price is $1 million. We're going to be in there. We're going to be asking. And now you're seeing that kind of everywhere. So for Nebraska, one of the top end quarterbacks, right, in a given class to make, more than that makes sense. So, like you said, as long as it comes with wins, I think that's good. It's not my money, so it's not necessarily hurting me one way or the other. But you like Nebraska to be competitive. You do wonder, of course, once you go to the system of having 20 million, that's when it kind of gets interesting, right? When you have the $20 million budget, how much of that is going to go to football? And then how much of that can go to, your quarterback, or how much of that can go to your star player? Gets very interesting because they should be able to make more money on the NIL stuff, the actual name, image, and likeness stuff, not pay for play, but the actual name, image, and likeness stuff. So, I don't have a problem with it. In fact, I'd like for Nebraska to keep up with the Joneses. That being said, there have been talks before about Nico Iamaleava over there at Tennessee making close to triple that, even more than that. So that number would become a little bit shocking. But at $2 million, it's like, okay, yeah, that's about what I would think.
Did a great job with that name. That's a tough name that I have practiced many times at home. Nico Iamaleava. All right. Trust me, when I first started practicing that, it did not come out that quick. You did it clean. You did a great job, Jake. It's interesting because you talk about triple that. That'd be $6 million. So for those who haven't heard us talk about this in the past, or maybe you're not aware, coming down the pike in the very near future, $20.5 million. That's the cap. It's not for football. It's for sports. The goal at Nebraska to spend on football is $14.5 million. All right. Football being the moneymaker, football being by far the largest team, it is what it is. I don't think that's a shock to anybody. Leave $6 million for all the other sports. But so when you start thinking about, all right, $14.5 million, I mean, if Nico Iamaleava is making $6 million, I mean, that's nearly 50%. You look at Carson Beck, who went into the NFL draft, came back out, the former Georgia quarterback with the torn UCL is down in Miami right now, because he's getting paid $4 million. I mean, I'm sitting here talking about I got to ignore Ivan Drago on the screen. This dude's looking for his looking for his Mercedes-Benz and his Lamborghinis, which were stolen from his house. We talked about that previously. If Dylan Raiola was getting paid $4 million and he's driving around Lincoln in a Mercedes and a Lamborghini, and all of a sudden everyone's supposed to be on high alert because we're looking for these missing cars or whatever, what would your reaction to that be? Or what if he's making $4, $5, $6 million, like reported for some other quarterbacks? What would your reaction to that be?
Well, I mean, that's interesting because Carson Beck, you figure, is getting that because he's a top quarterback going into last year, was considered to be a top quarterback for the upcoming NFL draft. Things didn't go well at Georgia, injury and interception, stuff like that. But so he is one of the top returning quarterbacks in the nation. Raiola is probably not in that category, right? Mm-hmm. He's kind of projecting to be that. Iamaleava probably in the same category, a little bit ahead of Dylan, but probably not quite a top 5 quarterback in the nation. So I think time will tell if we get there, and the results will be, the results that we have will tell you if he deserves to get along that way. If you're paying, $6 million for Jeff Sims, then we're going to be frustrated. But if it comes along
frustrated
that he's doing well,
that's a kind word.
Yeah. Then I think we'll be okay with it. Like you said, winning cures all. Winning helps. I don't care what you pay him. They go 12-0, pay him everything.
Nobody's looking, and there's not a Buckeye fan out there being like, we spent too much for that team. No. Not one person has come out and said that. They have tried to downplay how important the Michigan game is. I don't know why that would be, but I keep hearing that from Buckeye fans. Does this game mean what it used to? Yes, it means what it used to. All right, the regular season doesn't mean what it used to, but that game's supposed to still mean the same thing. Just ask Michigan fans. I think I know a lot of Buckeye and Michigan fans, so it's all over my Facebook feed specifically. I see it all the time. Oh, my God, shut up. All right, last question, and then we're going to move on to something else. Things, because they're not supposed to be made public. People aren't supposed to know these things. And Matt RHULE talked about how he thought that was a good thing. And I understand that. I do think there's a level of protection that comes with people not knowing. A certain level of separation sometimes from fan and player can be good. Access is great. Too much access almost sometimes is not great. At the same time, some of these players are getting paid a lot of money. And then you can come and go as you please, at least for now. So there's a lot of money that wasn't there before. There's a lack of accountability because you can come and go as many times as you want, seemingly. So lack of accountability, and to a certain degree anyways, that wasn't there before. They are starting to settle in on contracts, and you can't just bounce in and out of the portal every 6 months. But what are your thoughts on, and they're not supposed to be public, but what are your thoughts on some of these things that come out, like Carson Beck for 4, and Iamaleava and Dylan Raiola for about 2, and those things being made public? Reporters are going to want to find these things out. It's interesting. That's why we're talking about it. But what are your thoughts on these things? Should they be public for most players, or should they not?
I don't know. You get into the pro sports, you can kind of break down your GM, or it helps the fan. There's more transparency. You say, why'd we sign this contract? This isn't working. But without knowing that at the college level, again, it's kind of transitioning, and so you kind of think about that $2 million man on campus, right? Should he just have to go to the same 101 class and sit with the rest of the people, or is he going to be mostly doing online classes and that sort of thing to get away from the fray? So it's an adjustment as far as each individual guy and what they make. A lot of that, once you get into the real world, that certain jobs can be public information. So I don't have too much of a problem with it. I guess I don't have too much of a problem because it kind of holds everybody accountable.
So what Matt RHULE said, he thinks it's a good idea if it's not made public. Obviously, he's a football coach looking out for his players first. Yeah. And he wants less drama and issues towards his players from any outside folks, whether it be media, fans, etc. Family members. Sometimes family members finding out can be a real issue. Dude, I had a guy who umped one of my games when I was 12 call me when I was in St. Louis. He goes, dude, I umped whatever games. He goes, you owe me this amount of money.
Did he really?
Are you serious, bro? It's like, with all due respect, I don't even remember you. And you could have umped every game. I don't owe you anything. Like, what is this? So that's why I talk about a certain level of separation can be good. That's not the only story I have like that. That's the one that made me shake my head the most. Some guy, he even sent me a picture. I'm like, I don't recognize you. You had a hump mask on. I was probably yelling at you for calling strike 3 when it was a ball, all these different things. But so there's that. But then there's also, when I nodded my head when you said NFL, like These guys, it's like semi-pro football now. And you know NFL contracts, and you know all these different contracts, and you can look and find things up. And there's a level of accountability that comes with that. I think I like the idea of them being private because these are still young men. But if there isn't some parameters put in place, which I think are coming, the actual enforcement of rules, contracts, all right, things of that nature. So you can't just come and go willy-nilly and just try to be the highest college football mercenary out there and make the most money all the time. Because if that's the case, everything needs to be public. Because then there's no accountability whatsoever. And you can't just do and say whatever you want and try to get away with it with no accountability at all. I see parameters coming in. I don't know how long they're going to take, from revenue sharing to contracts to things of that nature, which makes it, there's got to be some accountability, some guidelines, some reasonability. Yeah, I tried to make up a word and it didn't go well. Things have to be more reasonable, is all I'm trying to say. And I tried to throw ability at the end of it. Didn't work well. In college football, you can't just do and say whatever you want and try to make the most money all the time, and there's no accountability, no reliability. So with the parameters that I do foresee coming at some point, I don't know how long they're going to take. I'm okay with things being more private, but if those things don't come, and they don't come sooner rather than later, things need to be more public, because then that's how you hold people accountable. All right, we're going to go to break. And we're going to talk about Matt Rhule wanting an easy non-conference schedule. I just like phrasing that way. It's just like poke. What does that really mean, Adam? Easy non-conference schedule. But before we do, I didn't get a comment on this. I'm sure everyone knows by now, Nebraska defensive tackle Ty Robinson ran a 4.83 40, reaching a top speed of 20.64 miles per hour, both the fastest marks among defensive tackles. His speed at 10 yards was 16.98 miles per hour, as the fourth fastest by a D tackle over the past 3 years. That was pretty impressive. All right. And a lot of people tagged me in that. I guess there were some scouts that were kind of comparing me and Ty, et cetera, et cetera. Ty's got a bright NFL future. And I think people forget how highly recruited he was. He was a 4-star out of Arizona, I believe. And he was very highly recruited. And people were very excited when he came here. I think over time, because of COVID and 89,000 years of eligibility the players have, I think time and distance creates a foggy memory when it comes to that. The dude never was not talented. Never didn't have this. When I say Nebraska has talented players, most people understand where I'm coming from. Every once in a while I'll get, no, they don't. Adam, you don't know what you're talking about. How well did Isaiah Nayor play for us football-wise last year? Jake?
I would say up and down. It finished on a down for a lot.
You're being very kind. He underperformed vastly. Isaiah Nayor put up some freaky numbers today. 4.4 in the 40 at 218 pounds in the NFL Combine. 323 wide receivers have been drafted in the past 10 years. Here's the list of the ones, 218 plus pounds, who hit at least 4.4. Chase Claypool, DK Metcalf, Xavier Legette, Robert Davis, and now Isaiah Nayor. In a decade, 5 out of 323 that weighed 218 pounds or more ran a 4.4 flat 40. Nebraska has players with size. Nebraska has players with ability. Nebraska has players with speed. Nebraska has a top 20 roster. We have had a top 20 to 25 roster for a dozen years. We are not getting these players developed, and we are not getting them to play up to their potential, and it's not close. We were in two of the worst divisions in all of college football. Jake, I think, pointed this out, which ruined my day the other day. The Big 12 North and the Big 10 West. And in the Big 10 West, we won that thing once. And what was it, 13 years, 12 years, 14 years? Once. There was a 10-year span when Nebraska had the highest recruiting class in the Big 10 West 9 out of 10 times. Wisconsin had it once. And we made it to the Big 10 championship game once. Played Wisconsin, didn't go great, as we know. Nebraska has the physical ability and capability of playing at a top 25 to 20 level, and has ever since 01 or 99, the last time we won a conference title. We've got to actually do it. I like things that I see Matt Rhule doing, but it starts with the little things. I have sang Matt Rhule's praises in large part this offseason because I see things, I like things, I speak on them. Last fall, I ripped into him like a monkey on a cupcake because I saw things, I didn't like it at all, and I spoke on them. When we can't snap a ball properly, when Jeff Sims can't time the timing of the snap from the center in the shotgun so it doesn't hit the guy in motion. When we give up 10 block kicks in a season, Tennessee gave up 1 in 4 years. Thank God that guy's here now. When we don't do the basic little things, you're going to get beat by inferior teams talent-wise who are better at football because they do the little things better than you. Nebraska's had the ability. We've got to find a way to be better at the little things because little things add up to big things. I was going to say over time, but sooner rather than later. And those things equate to the difference between a win and a loss. Matt Rhule's doing a lot of great things this offseason. And when I say he wants an easy non-conference schedule, I'm about to explain why I don't like it as a college football fan, but I understand it and I support it as a Nebraska fan. It's not a shot at him. It's just trying to catch people's attention. And I try to have fun. I don't just want to sit here and be blasé boring all day. I try to have fun with things. But if we can't do the little things, we can play Timbuktu and we're going to continue to lose. I didn't plan on this diatribe, Jake, but does this kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
All right, don't go anywhere. I promise. I'll find my smile during the break, and we'll be right back.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Nottingham Forest plays Man City at 6:30 a.m., followed by Crystal Palace versus Ipswich Town at 9 a.m. To cap off the Saturday action, Wolves plays Everton at 2 p.m. On Sunday, Tottenham plays Bournemouth at 9 a.m., followed by Man United versus Arsenal at 11:30 a.m. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of rain. It will be windy. See an afternoon high around 58. Tonight, a chance of rain and snow to be windy with blizzard conditions possible, low around 25. And tomorrow, we'll see nearly sunny skies. It'll be windy with blowing snow, a high around 39. I'm meteorologist Kyle Carriker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more. There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 11th annual Street Festival. The party starts on Saturday, March 15th, with tons of giveaways, a kilt contest, great Irish food, and green beer, and continues on Monday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 11 a.m. on Saturday and 9 a.m. on Monday, and the street party starts at 2 p.m. both days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's 8th and P in the Haymarket.
Spring storms can unfortunately lead to power outages. While LES line workers go out in the storm, you can stay in, but you can also help by reporting your outage right away online at les.com/report.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread.
Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join 93.7 The Ticket this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from Pinnacle Bank Arena for the NSAA Girls State Basketball Tournament. Starting Wednesday at 9 a.m., we'll be at PBA bringing you play-by-play coverage of every single game. That's right. All 24 games played at Pinnacle Bank Arena this week will be heard right here on 93.7 The Ticket. From Class A to Class D2 action, 93.7 The Ticket is your home for the 2025 Girls State Basketball Tournament. And it all starts this Wednesday at 9 a.m. We'll see you there.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Terrell Farley just came in here in the studio. We were chatting for a minute. He's like, did you hear about Matt Rhule punishing the players with a brutal TikTok workout after Dylan RAIOLA'S viral video? So I had not heard of this. Jake didn't tell me, so I'm going to throw Jake right under the bus. I still love you, Jake. All right, but looked up the article. All right, Grayson Weir, I hope I'm saying that right, wrote this. Said Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule does not care what his college football players do on their own time. However, he will not allow them to film TikTok videos at/in the team facility, and that apparently it continues to be a reoccurring issue. The 50-year-old, through the strength and conditioning staff, recently ran his freshmen through a brutal workout to teach them a lesson about how he runs his program. Rhule, who returned to college football in 2023 after a 2-year stint with the Carolina Panthers, did not download TikTok until very recently. Matt Rhule's on TikTok. That's interesting. All right. It all came together because of Cornhuskers volleyball star Harper Murray, who has more than 500,000 followers on social media. She was recently chilling with Rhule's 9-year-old daughter. All right, in the athletic training room, when the head coach walked into the room, he was informed of their plans to film a video together. Rhule is anti-TikTok and won't let his kids have the app on their phone, but he wasn't going to say no to Murray. Here is the result, and there's a video of Murray and his daughter, all right, that has been posted, doing a bit of a dance. I'm kind of narrating here a little bit, but it's a cool video. What happened next resulted in an impromptu workout for Nebraska football, the program. Matt Rhule told the story during an interview with Pat McAfee at the NFL Combine. So I've had to download TikTok and found my daughter all over it. She finds people in the facility. I thought I saw 35 of my players doing TikToks, and one of them did it in the facility, which is a hard no. That's Matt Rhule. It is unclear what specific post triggered the head coach. However, this happened not long after quarterback Dylan RAIOLA went viral for dancing alongside running back Emmett Johnson. The video has since been deleted because of the backlash. Rhule said that the post in question was filmed at the team facility. So Dylan RAIOLA is in the clear, same with Johnson. Hold on. Said that the post in question was filmed at the team facility. So Dylan RAIOLA is in the clear, same with Johnson. You look behind Raiola and Johnson, that does not look like it's at the team facility. It just goes to show the college athletes these days love to get down on TikTok. This problem, in quotes, the word problem is in quotes, is not specific to the freshman class. They just happened to take the brunt of the blame in this instance. One of them filmed a video inside the facility. All right, there's more to the article. But my reaction to this didn't Antonio Brown years ago do like a post-game reaction in the locker room? Like film something, was it Facebook, X, whatever it was, and that created, it was already a loving relationship between him and the Steelers, let me tell you. But that was kind of like the final nail in the coffin, if I remember, because that was a really big deal to them. And I'll be honest with you, if that's the reason he was upset, whether he likes TikTok or not in general, Matt RHULE joined. I'm on TikTok. Give me a follow if you'd like. All right. But doing things inside the facility, I understand that, and I respect that. And there's got to be, like I said, there's got to be a separation. Fans, I love that they have more access than they've ever had to players, coaches, etc. People within the football, basketball, whatever sports team you want to root for program, but there's still got to be a level of separation. It's for the good of the programs, for the good of the players, the good of the coaches. I will tell people when I go do my public speaking events, I almost always wrap it up with, fans have more power than they've ever had. You have more access than you've ever had, and that's awesome. But with great power comes great responsibility. Hashtag sarcasm, but a whole lot of seriousness. Because a lot of times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but there are those fans out there who think that they can just say whatever they want. Like if a guy commits and then goes somewhere else or has a bad game, they will just lambaste this player on social media. Now, far be it from the player to actually respond. But here's the thing. Players, coaches, they're not just names and faces on a video game that you can cut, trade, and delete. They're human beings. So when you're thinking about, hey, is my goal just to be angry and vent? Or is my goal to appreciate and enjoy the access, but also remember the responsibility that comes with this? And if you want to say something to them, hey, it's there. They're on social media. But just keep in mind that there's actual human beings behind this. And whether they respond or not, which they probably shouldn't, 19 times out of 20, 95% of the time they shouldn't, but whether they do or not, things add up over time. And it affects players, it affects coaches. I can argue it's part of the gig. And I could also argue if you can't handle it, get out. When people come at me on social media, whether it's positive, negative, or indifferent, that's my attitude. I have no problem blocking people. I've never understood, ooh, this person blocks somebody, they're soft. No, I'm busy. And if you have time for drama, I don't have time for you. Like, I got to go. It's not that I'm soft or anything else. I'm busy. If you have time for drama, I don't have time for you blocking them out. But not everybody operates that way. People receive information differently, positive, negative information. Some people it bounces off, some people they absorb. Is your goal to vent and be mad if you're one of these fans that does this? Or is your goal to remember the great responsibility that comes with the awesome access that you now have that fans have never had before? And to remember that, hey, I actually want to help my team more than just rip into somebody like a monkey on a cupcake, as fun as that is, especially after games like Illinois, UCLA, and Iowa. And yes, this is coming from the guy who goes off on his gut reactions. But if you notice, I never make it personal. I'll never make it insulting. Like when some people get, like a player or a coach gets mad at me, if they actually will say something to my face, because a lot of them won't, but if they will, my response is, did I make it personal? Did I swear at you? Did I disrespect you as a person? Or did I analyze what you did on the field as a coach or player? Because I know what that's like. I also know what it's like for it to be made personal. And until I swear at you, disrespect you, or make it personal, I could be wrong. I also could be right, and I'm not going to feel sorry for you. So my point is, never make it personal, never make it an attack. But what Matt RHULE did here, like saying there's a separation between inside the facility and what we will share or won't share with people outside the facility, I like that. I support that. We don't have a whole lot of details as to what the specific video is. Okay, it doesn't appear like it was the Dylan and Emmett one. But I have no problem with this, and there does need to be a certain boundary or limitation. All right. Does that make sense, Jake?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know some maybe older generation might not love the TikTok dances, but that's what the younger kids like to do and have fun with it. It's growing their brand and stuff like that. But like you said, that all kind of needs to be, put in one place, and then the success of your football program and building it. And the whole reason why you're there to begin with, as recruited as a football player, needs to be respected along those lines.
All right, man. Anything from the text line real quick? I'm debating whether to go to break or start our segment and then go to break, but anything from the text line real quick?
Nothing from the text line here.
Let's do this. I want to get to Matt Rhule wanting easy non-conference schedules, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go to break. When we come back, we will discuss that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey, what are you talking about over there? Huh? I said, what are you talking about?
You know, Bill, I think it's time for both of us to get our hearing checked. We should head over to Christensen Hearing Analytics.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about them. They offer a free hearing consultation and screening, affordable hearing aid prices, and a knowledgeable staff with over 30 years of experience.
Visit Christensen Hearing Analytics today in Williamsburg Village or give them a call at 402-489-3450. Christensen Hearing Analytics. A better life starts with better hearing. Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
When you get the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime you work out. And now through March 13th, get your first month free when you join. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage. And do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 convenient locations. So, you coming? Get your first month free and all the perks with the PF Black Card for just $1 down, $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends March 13th. See Club for details.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see a chance of rain. It will be windy. See an afternoon high around 58. Tonight, a chance of rain and snow to be windy with blizzard conditions possible, low around 25. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It will be windy with blowing snow, a high around 39. I'm meteorologist Kyle Carriker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Opportunity can knock at any moment. When it does, you can't afford to miss a call. That's why you need a business phone system that gives your team the flexibility to answer anytime, anywhere. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, we make it easy to equip your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. We enhance the efficiency technology provides while putting people first in all we do. That's why we meet your business right where you are by offering customized office technology solutions that meet your specific needs. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at HamiltonIsBusiness.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Spring storms can unfortunately lead to power outages. While LES line workers go out in the storm, you can stay in, but you can also help by reporting your outage right away online at les.com/report.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Couple of quick high school basketball scores update from Monday, March 3rd. Lincoln Southeast, 52. Lincoln Northeast, 47. Lincoln Southwest, 57. Omaha West Side, 55. Lincoln North Star, 68. Kearney, 47. Lincoln Lutheran, 47. Lincoln Christian, 40. Four-state qualifiers from the capital city. Lincoln Pius X plays on Wednesday. Jake, we just keep expanding our horizons. Now we're talking high school boys basketball. While we're on the topic of basketball, I mean, Rick Pitino, you have to have seen this. Some of this stuff is stuff I've stored when I was, conscious over the weekend. Rick Pitino just became the first coach ever to win conference titles with 5 different teams, conference titles with 5 Division I teams. That's how I should say that. Think about that. That is crazy to me. So when you think about what he did, all right, Boston U, he was there from 80 to 83, won the American East. Kentucky, which was my introduction to Rick Pitino as a young lad, 95, 96 SEC. Louisville, right, 05, Conference USA. 2009, 2013, the Big East, and 2014, the AAC. Iona, which was in the MAAC, 2022, 2023, and St. John's in the Big East this past year. It can be done, ladies and gentlemen. It can be done. And winning travels with certain people. It's just kind of funny how that works. All right, let's talk about this. Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule questions Big Ten non-conference scheduling. Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule is sounding off on non-conference scheduling in the Big Ten. Rhule made the comment while talking to former Ohio State Buckeye head coach Urban Meyer on the Triple Option podcast. The Husker head coach was asked about the recent headlines following Nebraska's decision to cancel an upcoming home-and-home series with the Tennessee Volunteers, whose athletic director is a good buddy of ours. All right, Rhule made it clear that with the Big Ten already scheduling 9 conference games, there's little incentive to load up on your non-conference schedule. And I quote, "Why would you ever play one of those games? I'm going to be completely honest, Coach Meyer. I'm at a lucky point in my life in my 4th job, and after getting fired in the NFL, I kind of say what I feel nowadays." That is true. Rhule's a very honest guy. All right, I could care less. That's Rhule, not me. Why in the world would a Big Ten team that's always playing 9 conference games, why would you ever play one of those games? End quote. Here's another one. They proved to us this year when they did all the seeding and all that stuff that early season wins didn't mean a thing. That really, it was at the end of the day what you look like in the last month of the season. That's what it's all proved to us. And when I say it looks like it's really good, it's about your offense. If you're scoring points and blowing people out late in the year, you're going to make the playoffs. And I've heard him say this a couple times. He said it to me one time on the phone. Like, it was right after the SEC title game. It was defense that won this game. But offense is what everyone wants to look at. So, as a college football fan, hate everything about this. Hate it. I want to see big-time matchups. I want to see the best teams play the best. As a Nebraska football fan, let me ask you a question, Jake. Let's say, take Nebraska out of it. Let's say Team A, Team B. Let's say Team A and Team B play relatively the same schedule. They're in the Big Ten. Team A plays Ohio State, Oregon, and those are their 2 big games. They finish the season 10-2. Okay. Beat everybody else. And they're in a college football playoff. They're going head-to-head to try to get that last seed, that 12 seed, that 11 seed, whatever the case may be. Team B plays Ohio State, Oregon. They're in the Big Ten. They don't play each other, so you don't have a head-to-head because every conference has 92,000 teams for some reason, money. So you don't get the head-to-head tiebreaker. Their strengths of schedules are relatively the same, but the difference is Team B also played Texas in the non-conference, and now they're 9-3. Who's getting in? Who would get in? The 10-2 team with a now weaker strength of schedule or the 9-3 team with a considerably much tougher extra opponent and additionally a tougher strength of schedule. Who's getting in?
Probably the 10-2 team.
Not probably, Jake. They're getting in. So I've got this thing in front of me. I'm not going to go through it. Dabo Swinney basically talks about how he couldn't care less what the college football playoff does. We're just going to go out and win. We've been in 7 of the last 10 playoffs. Okay, by the way, Clemson has the most amount of returning production of any team in the entire country this year. They're the favorite to win the ACC. After this year, if he doesn't fix things, and he's one of the best coaches in America, talking about Swinney, they're going to fall off a cliff. And I can dive more into that later in this season. If you're going to recruit outside the top 25 and you're not going to use the transfer portal, you're going to fall off a cliff. And this is about their 3rd year in a row of doing it, but this is not a Clemson show. I'll come back to that. Greg Sankey points blame at College Football Playoff Committee over Nebraska, Wake Forest, canceling series with Tennessee and Ole Miss. Isn't it pretty much the SEC and Big Ten that are running college football? Am I wrong on that, Jake?
Oh, no, that's right.
Huh. Does Greg own a mirror? Do you think he owns a mirror? Do you think he cares?
They just will not listen to the 9 conference games thing. They just can't accept it.
It's the same. So I guarantee if the Big Ten were playing 8 conference games, it'd make much more sense to play a one tough non-conference schedule. But they're playing 9. You look at the ACC and SEC have never once been punished for playing 8. So they play Timbuktu U right before their big rivalry games at the end of the year. So you get 2 bye weeks, then they get this 3rd bye week. They're not punished for it. The Big Ten teams are like, why are we playing an extra non-conference game that's tough? Fans are like, this sucks. And Adam Carriker's like, you're right. And then I'm like, but if I'm in Matt Rhule's shoes, I'd probably do the same thing. I would. I don't like it. I don't love it. I hate it. And I don't want any more of it. The weirdest things have come out of my mouth today, Jake. But I'm telling you, it's what I would probably do. Now, there are some schools out there. I'm convinced somebody in the scheduling department hates these schools. So Florida, I talked about this briefly. Their schedule last year was not ASA 7, ASA 8, it was ASA 9. It might be worse this year. So they are one of the top 15 most talented teams in the country. Look at talent composite rankings. They have the 11th best odds of winning the national title. Yet the over-under for their win-loss total this year is 6.5 games. And here's why. They play LSU because they play 8 of the top 21 teams that are favored to win the national title. So the top 21 teams in America that have the best odds of winning a national title, they play 8 of them. Think about that. Our schedule looks like Cupcake City now. We're like Bakery U at Nebraska compared to what Florida's going to do. And Oklahoma might be worse in the SEC. Florida kind of did it to themselves a little bit out of conference. They got LSU, Miami, Texas, Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and who knows what to make of Florida State. But they might be good. Florida State. Those 8 teams. Now you can point to Long Island and South Florida. That's one of the better G5 teams, plus an in-state rival. That's one of their 4 easy games. Then you got Mississippi State, who's an SEC team, so you never know. I mean, I'm not a Florida guy here, but their schedule looks crazy to me. And then you look at Oklahoma, their SEC schedule. So I will say this. Florida did it a little bit to themselves. They always play Florida State, an ACC team every year. But then they threw in Miami, and then they threw in South Florida. And I'm kind of like, you a little bit did that to yourself. You look at Oklahoma's conference schedule. They also, just for good measure, play Michigan in the non-conference. But in conference, all right, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU. That's in conference. Those teams are all going to be top 20 teams next year. And by the way, Ole Miss has won the 3rd most amount of games of any team in the entire SEC. Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss. Don't sleep on Ole Miss. How can you with Lane Kiffin talking all the time? But you get my point. Like those 2 schedules, I'm kind of like, holy smokes. But then you look at Ohio State. The team has just won the national title. Their non-conference, Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall. With all due respect. What? I can say anything I want after all due respect, right?
I think so. Yeah.
With all due respect, what? Now, they actually had some teams they played in conference. Remember back to Oregon? Remember back to Penn State? Indiana, a top 10 playoff team? Excuse me. And of course, we all remember that wonderful Michigan game that Ohio State fans want to forget. But Michigan didn't turn out to be as bad as we thought at the end of the year. Then you look at Penn State. You remember Penn State, who lost to Ohio State, actually was seated higher than Ohio State? Do you remember that, Jake?
Yeah.
Look at their schedule. Bowling Green, Kent. Then you look at I guess they did play West Virginia. I think West Virginia was 6-6 in their bowl game. I could be wrong. Maybe 7-5. But you look at their conference schedule. I mean, they've got like UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Washington, Minnesota. I mean, it was Ohio State. So Ohio State played Penn State, Oregon, Indiana, Washington, won 3 of those 4 games and beat Penn State head-to-head. But because they had 2 losses, they were seated behind Penn State, who lost on their home field to Ohio State. But because Penn State had a softer, shall we say, Big Ten slate, even after playing Oregon in the Big Ten title game, which, as we all know, is not part of your regular season schedule, they had the same amount of losses, lost to Ohio State, but still, because they didn't want to punish them for losing the Big Ten title game, because they want to pretend that these conference championship games still matter, so we'll go along with the facade for now, actually were seated ahead of Ohio State. I believe Penn State was, 6? I know Ohio State was 8, because Tennessee was 9 in that first round game. I don't know. Like, it's the way college football is set up, which is what annoys me about what Greg Sankey said. No, dude. The Big Ten and SEC are driving this. And if you don't like the way it is, then change what you're doing, because you pretty much tried to take over college football with a stronghold, because you can. It's business. I get it. But just don't deflect blame elsewhere. Just hold the mirror up in the right direction, please. I don't know, Jake. What are your thoughts? I hear the music, but what are your thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And the whole Tennessee canceling series thing, I mean, it's frustrating at first, but, you know, the more Matt Rhule goes out and talks about it, the more it makes sense. And I continue to say, if we're going to play, you have these big conferences, I'd say just play a 12-game conference schedule and then figure it out in the playoffs.
All right, stay safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's supposed to be interesting tonight. Go Big Red, and always remember to throw the ball.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and